Hello and welcome to Tracking the Week. On Monday, the federal government announced free train transportation nationwide between the 20th of December to the 5th of January. This is inconsistent with President Tinubu's desire to cushion the transport challenges for vulnerable Nigerians, particularly during Yuletide seasons. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris hinted this while addressing State House correspondents as part of the resolutions reached at the last Federal Executive Council meeting for year 2024. Also, at the council meeting, President Tinubu raised a motion for the remaining of the University of Abuja to Yakubu Gowon University. Minister of Education Dr. Olatunji Alausa announced that this motion was anonymously approved by the Council in recognition of the invaluable contribution of the elder statesman and former head of state to national unity. Still on Monday, the latest payment of local government allocations to state governments despite Supreme Court judgment has been seen by many Nigerians as a contempt. On July 11, 2024, the Supreme Court delivered a landmark judgment affirming the financial autonomy of Nigeria's 774 local government councils and gave a stipulated timeline for compliance, which has so far elapsed, and in lieu of this, people are not happy with the latest release of local government allocation by Federal Allocation Council to the state government. The Supreme Court ruling that granted full autonomy to local government administration across Nigeria was welcomed by all and sundry, and it was seen as a way to go for better local government administrations. The Supreme Court decision declared it unconstitutional for state governors to withhold funds allocated to local government councils. It is a fact that for local government, which is a third tier of government, to function well, there must be a free, fair and conducive ground for it to operate within and fully by the Nigerian constitutional provision. On Tuesday, the Nigerian Senate called on the federal government to fund the establishment of modern ranches nationwide to enhance safety and economic productivity for herders and local communities. The resolution during Tuesday's plenary followed a motion by Senator Anthony Siyako Yaro, representing Gombe South, on the recent banditry attacks in Biliri local government area, Gombe State, where suspected herders killed residents, destroyed properties and displaced scores of people. Correspondent Kuliojo reports that Senator Seriki Dixon, representing Bayelsa West, in his contribution, described ranching as a sustainable solution to the herder community conflict, urging collaboration between relevant ministries and Senate committees to develop a nationwide ranching framework. Senator Adams Oshomole, on the other hand, called for revisiting a prior resolution to hold a public hearing on security and economic challenges under the ECOWAS framework. Still on Tuesday, the federal government announced 6-point initiative as critical areas to prioritize in the ongoing effort to transform and revitalize the education sector in Nigeria. Minister of Education Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, who announced this in Abuja during a meeting with the 36 state and Federal Capital Territory Commissioners of Education, said the review of the roadmap of his predecessor was not a policy somersault. Correspondent Kulujo reports that the 6 key priority areas are promoting science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medical sciences, education, reducing the number of out-of-school children, enhancing technical and vocational education and training, advancing girl-child education, harnessing data and digitalization, and strengthening quality assurance mechanisms. According to the minister, this was in alignment with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Alausa added that the meeting centered on developing a comprehensive reform agenda where state commissioners were expected to key into government initiatives to improve educational standards in the country. On Wednesday, President Bola Tinubu arrived at the National Assembly complex before noon with his entourage to present the 2025 budget proposal before a joint session of the Parliament. The Federal Executive Council approved the 47.96 trillion naira budget estimate for the 2025 fiscal year. Consequently, security agents comprise an operative of the Department of State Services, the Nigerian Police Force, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Sergeant at Arms, and the Federal Road Safety Corps are restricting access to the complex, assuring that only those with legitimate business related to the proposed budget presented are allowed in through the gate. Staff members of the National Assembly providing clerical and other auxiliary services were told to remain at home until the President's visit was over. The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives were all present at the joint session. The medium-term expenditure frame and fiscal strategy paper, on which the budget preparation is premised, had been passed by both chambers of the National Assembly. Still on Wednesday, the Oyo State government expressed deep sorrow over the tragic loss of lives resulting from a stampede at the private children's fun fair in Ibadan. The incident, which occurred at Bashorun Islamic High School in the early hours of Wednesday, claimed the lives of several children and left many others injured. In a swift response, the Deputy Governor, Barrister Bayo Lawal, said emergency agencies immediately transported victims to various hospitals across Ibadan for urgent medical care. He clarified that the Oyo State government and security agencies were not involved in the planning or logistics of the private event, and stressed the need for proper coordination and safety measures for events involving children and vulnerable groups. Authorities are awaiting a comprehensive report from the Commissioner of Police to ascertain the total number of victims and determine the circumstances leading to the tragic event. On Thursday, the Nigerian Senate passed for second reading the 2025 appropriation bill of 49.7 trillion naira presented before the joint session of the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu. The passage of the budget came as the Senate adjourned its plenary session until January 14, 2025 to allow lawmakers to partake in the Christmas and New Year festivities. Correspondent Kulujo reported that leading a debate on the general principles of the 2025 appropriation bill during the plenary on Thursday, the Senate leader Opeyemi Bamidele announced that the bill is deemed to have been read for the first time by the presentation before the joint session of the National Assembly, hence the commencement of the general debate. Bamidele listed major highlights of the budget to include oil price benchmark of $75 per barrel and daily oil production estimate of 2.06 million barrels per day and exchange rate of 1,500 naira to the US dollar for the 2025 fiscal year. Majority of the senators who made the contributions to the debate commended President Tinubu for the budget, saying it was indeed a budget of restoration. Still on Thursday, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice faulted the suspension of the local government chairman in Edo State by Governor Monday Okpebholo. The 18 local government chairman and vice chairman were placed in suspension on December 17 by the State House of Assembly at the instance of the governor. Governor Okpebholo had accused the chairman and the deputies of insubordination and misconduct on the ground that they did not submit their statement of finances to him. However, answering questions from newsmen at a public function in his office, Fagbemi, a senior advocate of Nigeria SAN, said that it was only the legislative arm of local government that can sack or place council chairmen on suspension. Correspondent Kulujo reported that Fagbemi said that under the current dispensation, local government chairmen cannot just be removed or suspended by any governor without following due process of law. He disclosed that since July 11, when the Supreme Court delivered a landmark judgment, local government administration has taken a new turn different from the older order. On Friday, the new permanent secretary in the Federal Ministry of Works, Engineer Olufunsho Olusesan Adebiyi, has highlighted allegation of lopsidedness of project as one of the pressing challenges facing the ministry, calling for the cooperation of all staff in this regard. Engineer Adebiyi, while speaking during his official resumption of the ministry in Abuja, noted that various regions often accuse the ministry of prioritizing some areas over others, creating tension and dissatisfaction. Correspondent Kulujo reports that the new permanent secretary assured that such issues will be resolved amicably, calling on everyone to work towards delivering on President Tinubu's mandate of providing critical road infrastructure in line with the renewed hope agenda. Engineer Adebiyi commended Dr. Kofamata for his excellent track record while in office, noting that many staff members had learned a lot from his leadership. Speaking earlier, the outgoing permanent secretary expressed gratitude for the harmonious working relationship he enjoyed during his tenure, calling on the staff to extend the same level of cooperation to his successor. Still on Friday, prominent lawyer and human rights advocate Dele Farotimi has been granted bail by an Ado-Ekiti Magistrate Court in the sum of 30 million naira following allegations of defamation brought against him by renowned legal luminary and senior advocate of Nigeria, Afe Babalola. During Friday's hearing, Magistrate Abayomi Adeosun ruled that Farotimi's bail application met the necessary conditions. The court mandated 2 responsible sureties the submission of Farotimi's international passport and prohibited him from engaging with the media for the duration of the trial. The case stems from allegations outlined in a petition filed by Afe Babalola, who accused Farotimi of criminal defamation in connection with statements made in his recent published book. The book, which has stirred significant public discourse, reportedly includes claims that Babalola contends are damaging to his reputation. The charges have sparked widespread debate, with some viewing the case as a test of the balance between free speech and defamation laws in Nigeria. And that's what we have on Tracking the Week.